Okay, my place is in absolute shambles right now, largely because of this, which is an eBay debacle I'm going through right now. And I wanted to show you what it is, because I don't know if I'll be able to feature this on my channel at all until, until everything's done. So, this here is the Pioneer LD-W1. And I don't know if you recall me saying it from one of my videos, but this is one of the most rare Laserdisc players, and it's rather collectible because if you're unfamiliar with this, this might blow your mind a bit. There's disc 1 and disc 2. This is the only consumer Laserdisc player that was ever made that can play 2 discs at once. And unfortunately, it got damaged heavily in transit. And let me show you here on the side, this front bezel is cracked, which is why, here I'll close the disc tray. The disc mechanism on this is kind of weird, but every time it opens, the bezel is getting in the way. Of course it didn't do it that time, but it keeps pushing the bezel out. Let's try one more time. If I push it up like that, it'll probably do it. Yeah, see how it got caught there? And if you look at the back of the player, it got crushed. You can see there's a kink here in the sheet metal. These ports or these jacks are bent downward. And I feel really badly because the seller, I don't know if he did this, but this player was modified to have an AC3 output and a coax output, which I'm assuming is for DTS discs, but I'm really not sure. But as the seller said, he put a lot of love into this player, but it is, the damage, it's catastrophic. It's not playing anything correctly. If I try to get it to play, see on the TV, it will spin the disc up. But the disc is scraping a bit. I don't know if you've heard that. Now the sound gets all garbled. And it's just not behaving right.
Eventually Longshanks will send his whole northern army against us. Heavy cavalry. Armored hope.
This remote, by the way, is absolutely gigantic. I mean, I don't know what I can show for scale, but it is huge. Like, just way huge. But anyway, so it will sometimes play right, like it's doing now. But hear the sound.
It's right over us. Uncle Argyle used to talk about it.
So now I'll have it play side C, which is Back to the Future, disc 1. Okay, it's spinning up okay. You see, it's not seeing the disc. The display is just flashing play. It's spinning up fine, and on sides C and D it doesn't scrape, but it just will not. It won't play half the time. It doesn't play at all. And then, like with Braveheart, if there's digital sound, it sometimes gets really, really screwy. So I'm going to go to disc B, or side B, which is the second side of Braveheart. Sound. see now it's not playing side B. So it's just completely erratic in how it's playing discs, and I am 90% sure that it's because in the damage it received during shipping, something is bent wrong. Maybe there's a contact on a chip somewhere that's shorted out, but it's just been like, it'll work maybe a quarter of the time. When it was playing Braveheart, that was pretty rare. And it just found it. But to hear the sound is all wrong. You'll hear it. It makes noises while it's searching.
Just when we thought all hope was lost,
it's just, I don't know what's going on, but anyway, I spent an irresponsible amount of money on this machine, only to have it arrive really messed up. And also, you might be able to tell, this front panel here is bent inward. The center is pushed in, and the edges are not lined up right with the player. So I really don't think I can show this in a... I mean, I don't know if the seller wants me to send it back. He doesn't accept returns, but I told him, I'm like, hey, I actually took a fair risk on this because he didn't even show a picture with the VFD display lit up, and thankfully it works pretty well. It's a little dim, but it doesn't appear to be any, it doesn't appear to have any dead segments or anything. But it's not acceptable, especially not for the amount of money that I spent. And I don't blame him because, let me move over to the box. This eBay tape here, right? Well, this box is the box that came in. It's a plain brown UPS box. And inside this box is a different box that was a Brother printer. But you can see he wrote LDW1 on it. I think he shipped it in this box, and UPS beat the crap out of it, and then they reboxed it into this thing. And so like I said, I really don't think the seller, I mean, even there's a pillow on the bottom of that. He packed it pretty well, but UPS just destroyed it, and it's like, so I don't blame him. I don't think he sent me a defective unit, but I need to get my money back, because this is, I spent less than $1,000, but I was really, this was just a dumb purchase, and really it was more for my personal collection. I would make a video about it, but now I don't know if I won't feel right making a video about this, because I may need to send it back to him. I'm probably going to get my money refunded, and I can show the mechanism inside because that's working, but the player as a player is just useless, and I'll go ahead and show you that mechanism because it is pretty interesting. So my Patreon crew, you guys, you'll get to see what's going on in here. Okay, so what makes this special, if I remove the disc, you'll see that the access cutout for the laser is sideways. And in every other Laserdisc player it's front to back, but in the LDW one it's sideways, because how this handles two discs is the Laserdisc reader is all the way back here. That's why there's this big hump in the back, because what it does is it brings the disc all the way back here. Let's see if it plays it this time. Yep, it's playing it. So that's good. And then when you switch sides, what it does
eventually Longshanks will send his whole Northern Army again.
It actually removes the disc and rotates the entire laser mechanism upside down. Oh, no, it didn't do that. This was the other thing it's doing. It's just crashed now, so this is only working with disc 2. Let me restart it. going to have it play side D. So this is the actual Laserdisc mechanism. So now it's going to pick Back to the Future and play the second side. So now essentially the entire player is upside down. It's really clever what they did, and I think...
George,
so it's
buddy,
playing, right?
remember that girl I introduced you to? Lorraine?
So let's try to get to disc side B.
What are you writing?
We'll swap the discs out. Yeah, that's playing. So I'll go to A, and you'll see that flip over again. So it seems to be, let me hit stop, which is only on the remote for whatever reason. There's only an eject button on the player itself. Depending on if I have the cover on or off, it behaves differently, which makes me think something is like kinked somewhere. And in fact, this connecting rod, the power button up at is here, but the actual power switch is all the way back here. This connecting rod was dislodged in shipment. I couldn't even turn the thing off. The power switch was stuck in the on position. So I had to open it anyway just to get this reconnected because it popped off and you can see it's bent here. I don't think it's supposed to be bent there. But, so if I go back, if I start side A, oh, it froze again. See, this is the thing, like I have to eject the disc to get it to do anything again. So if we start with side A, and we just play it, okay, it works fine, but you select side B, and then it doesn't flip over, and it just stops. It's taking a while to spin down because I did it at an odd time. So it should flip over right now, but instead it just lowers the disc tray again and stops. So if you go and look at the display, it appears normal, but if I hit play, I can't select a disc or anything. It won't do anything until I open it up again. So I don't know what to do with this because, like I said, I paid way too much money for this for it to only be as a demonstration of the player. I wanted it to be functional because this is the only player that you can load up your two discs and have it play them in a row. The disc changing is a lot slower than other players because of the way it works, but it's really cool how they did it. It's a fascinating engineering piece from Pioneer, but it's certainly not worth what I paid for it. So, and like I think I said, the seller doesn't accept returns, so it's like he's not going to let me send it back, and I don't want eBay to have to step into this. I've told him, if you want to just refund me everything minus the shipping cost, I don't want you to be out of money here, but he said he didn't pay for extra insurance on it, which was his fault because clearly it was damaged in shipping, and I don't want to be paying what I paid for a piece of junk. Anyway, that's been on my mind recently. I wanted to show you all on Patreon because I want to show somebody this thing. It's amazing, and there's not a lot of good footage about this machine. But I'm just absolutely disappointed that it arrived busted up, and now this, I don't know how many of this model were made, but I don't think very many, and it's just a shame. Anyway, I'm going to have a new video, an actual video up pretty soon. I'm going to be working on that shortly. I hope you enjoyed this little distraction.